Chapter 13. The Amishmen. The Amishmen had more bodies than Alex expected. The cluster had gathered a minimum of 200 men, women, and children. Members of the community were equipped with personal possessions. As Alex walked through, he was offered fishing rods, vain trinkets, and rare foods as long as he had something valuable in exchange. The crowd spoke to one another while standing in circles, keeping themselves together, yet separated. He internally compared their operation to Zone 6, where, prior to a meeting, the crowd stood in stoic silence. The Amishmen acted on their human impulses by laughing, flirting, and arguing. "Go ahead whenever you're ready," Eric urged as he stepped back. Alex took his position at the front center of the tent before plunging into the prospect of turning a society who had lived mostly in peace into proponents of war. Many had their backs turned while engaged in conversation, and their attention needed gathering. "Your flare," Alex demanded. Alex expected David to pass him the flare, but instead he released the trail of purple smoke himself, which captured the focus of those disengaged. "I have a proposal for you that will be for your benefit," Alex projected, hoping that his mysterious aura would keep voices quiet. "Each of you makes your own living. It makes you vulnerable to attacks, to famines, and to the Hive." The mention of Conrad brought forth a downturn in the crowd's mood. Neutral faces turned to frowns. A scattering of whispered voices appeared. Alex ignored it. "The Hive has returned, but it's dying. We are from the Alliance, and our movement will shatter its return." The presence of whispering grew. "We want your help." As Alex spoke, a few turned away from him, forcing him to consider holding interest through a different message. "Afterwards, the world will change. You won't have to worry about another great war. You won't be held by fear. If you're a farmer, your crops will double. If you are an artist, your works will be seen to eyes that used to be inaccessible." Interest grew again. Silence took priority. "The entire world will open, it will—" Alex's words petered. He stumbled, unsure as to what to say that would be convincing, yet truthful. "With the Hive gone, you can travel to every inch of it. Cold snows and exotic oceans are within your grasp, but you have to reach out and get it yourself." He received nods of approval. "He's right," Lonnie unnecessarily added. "The chance to kill an alien will only come once in a lifetime. Don't waste it. Don't stay here as cowards, because once the Hive dies, I will remember that it was the Amishmen who rejected us." They received a mixed reaction of reluctance, joy, anger, and fear. "You're liars," a man from the crowd heckled. "We're happy here, kind, compassionate, not interested. Eric, make them leave." "I will not choose for the community," Eric decided. "Invasion is not our way. It's not your way." "I'm talking about liberation," Alex replied. As the congregation moved back, Eric approached Alex. "War is not the way we know. You will need to lead them." "When was the last time you were in a battle?" Eric hesitated before speaking. "Not long ago we faced the technicians. We have a peace treaty. Don't attack them or their allies, they won't attack us." "Then you can work together." "You wouldn't want to, they've lined with the Hive." Alex's eyes shifted to the crowd. Some had dispersed. Two who remained stood out with their shared similarities, faces with slight frowns, silent, identical. Alex realized that Conrad had slipped in with the Amishmen. "Conrad!" Alex exclaimed. The heads of Conrad's bodies tilted simultaneously, confirming their identity. One of them belonged to the heckling man. "The technicians are coming," Alex stated. Conrad nodded his head. "Soon, very soon, no time for escape. We will end you." Alex considered his threat flimsy. The technicians had a substantial amount of power, much higher than the Amishmen. The battle would result in many deaths, twisting Alex's thought with premature guilt. "I welcome it," Conrad's bodies replied. "You welcomed war. You're reckless," the Hive accused. "A flaw." "Joanna, Hector," Eric called. He stood from his chair and approached Conrad's property, calling them by their former names, failing to return them to conscious existence. "If you welcome a war, then you shouldn't mind me having a few extra soldiers. Let them go," Alex coerced. "They die. When let go." "When your time is over, they'll all perish," Alex said. "No, my replacement will take." "What, they need to be brought back. These are people who had full lives. Please," Hector pleaded. "They'll only die when removed. They have to be a part of the Hive forever," Alex said. "There has to be a way, there has to be," Eric panicked. "One way, You take me. Your people saved, Conrad said. I'm not interested in taking others' lives, alien. Just give us these ones back. They fight for me. No. Anger a flaw, they watch, feel all, still alive but no control. Alex mourned for those who had been taken, remaining conscious while their bodies were forced into either death or servitude of Conrad, and killed them with 2 bullets from his cannon. Red blood seeped from the wounds. Wait, this isn't Hive, their blood, Eric stuttered. It can mimic human blood, Alex explained to the returning crowd. These were Hive bodies. The Amishmen reacted slowly, which perplexed Alex as he had just killed one of their own. Instead, they looked to him for guidance. 2 turned to leave. Takeo stood in their way. His eyes narrowed, his head shook. There is no running, the Hive will find you. It's more powerful than any of us, Takeo claimed. You brought it to us, a frightened woman accused. It was going to happen anyway, a new age is coming, Takeo boomed. Alex looked to the bodies that fell. The heckler was grasping onto life. Please, I don't want to die. His eyes filled with tears. He was free at his last moments. Save us all. We need to create defenses, Alex yelled. It appears we're off to a good start, David claimed as his eyes shifted to the EMP. What else do you have, Alex asked. Whatever you can come up with. Unsurprised, Alex turned to the group. Get explosives on the bridges, landmines only, no sensor bombs. Alex looked to the landscape, searching for what could be of use to him. You, Alex called to the others, splitting the group with a wave of his hand. Retreat to where you live. Hide behind the trees. We'll call for you later. The bodies shuffled to their posts. Those who had been sent to the bridges layered explosive traps. Those sent to the rear manifested cover from scraps. It's a good thing the EMP's done, Alex said, and it's partially functional. I'm still tinkering, David admitted as he dashed towards his goal. You should have kept one alive, Takeo argued while he fiddled with his BN-10 investigating its parts. He would have stalled us. We could have known exactly when it's coming. I want to be prepared. That's what we're doing. This won't win against the technicians. We should try for another treaty. Alex, are you coming to the front with me? Patton asked. Alex looked at him and noticed that the boy had grown. His height and body mass had increased, his voice had deepened. He was mature enough now to achieve what he wanted, an experience at the front lines of a battle. I'll be at the bridge, Alex decided. Those in the rear will need you. I want to be with you, Patton whined. We don't have time for bullshit, Takeo cut in. Don't be blind, we both know the Hive's power. What if we made it think we're on its side again and used... I'm going on a scouting mission, Reese announced. Why, Patton wondered. Making a discovery of how close the army is. Making a discovery and coming back a hero is my specialty, Reese announced. Come back alive, I'll stay here, Alex said. I'll help build the defenses, Takeo offered. The trio traveled on horses provided by the Amishmen that Reese had become acquainted with. Alex's animal had a minigun mounted onto its rear. The weapon's neck extended above the heads of the men, and its shortened barrel was constructed to be a few feet long. The trigger to the weapon was threaded within the reins, not with a button, but through a mental connection, a rarity of the old world. Reese led them, his movements intentionally slowed, allowing time to investigate the atmosphere thoroughly. Alex followed closely behind, matching his intentions. Patton had joined the mission, telling Alex that he was going to search for the technician army himself if Alex did not allow him to join. As his confidence showed, he was prepared. They were joined by the guide they'd met when first coming to the Amishmen. She held her bow, a cache of arrows, 2 spears, and a short sword. She introduced herself as Maria. I'm here to watch you, she revealed. Who sent you? Alex asked. Myself. You people are so lucky, you get to do whatever you want when you want. That's like my dream, Reese said. How? We're not so lucky, Maria claimed. There's a reason why I stay on the outskirts. Why? Patton asked. The long line to see Eric, that was a good day. When people do whatever they want without consequences, it leads to issues. As they moved forward, the terrain remained mostly the same, a maze of gray and red rocks acting as the surface. The only deviation from it was the discovery of statues within the landscape. Depictions of soldiers, citizens, and diplomats were scattered. They shared a theme of loyalty to the old collective, for there was a faded blue circle on top of each one. One caught Alex's eye, a sculpture of Conrad Westwick. In his hands was a treaty with his signature scrawled across it. the promises of what the collective would bring. "We found them," Reese suddenly implored as his eyes detracted from the rifle's barrel. "Look." Alex looked into the scope and saw what had caused Reese to falter. The weapon's ability to detect camouflage made a useful perk. Far ahead, it appeared that a statue was moving forward slowly. Alex cast suspicion towards it. Once his eyes were withdrawn from Reese's barrel, it became apparent that no moving statue was visible. "Their army?" Patton asked. Alex looked to his group with worry. Arrows and swords were nothing against plasma. Reese's weapon was useful for long-distance assassinations, but not within the proximity of an enemy. Patton's pistol was weak. Alex looked at his own hand and manifested the purple cannon, adding a fatigue-inducing weight to his right arm. Despite the negative odds, it was possible to win. The rifle was passed until each had seen the threat themselves. Once it returned to Alex, he saw that another change had been made. The Scout revealed itself to be a green mecha suit. It contained stumpy silver and clawed feet that sunk into the ground. Both arms had 3 cannon barrels each. When Alex looked with his naked eye, the mecha had transformed into the image of a boulder covered in moss. "Now would be a great time to leave," Reese pleaded. "If we interrogate their scout, we can find out exactly when they're coming." "I meant a perfect time." "Patton, take the horse, go tell everybody what's happening," Alex commanded as he jumped off the horse that the 2 men had shared. "No, I'm gonna fight." "Patton, go. You can't make me." Patton's defiance in this critical time sent Alex to his tipping point. His hand lightly contacted Patton's cheek. "Go." Alex had slight regret over his reaction, but the lives of others were more important than Patton's feelings. "One of us needs to go to a higher elevation," Alex stated. Maria shot an arrow attached to a rope upwards. It punctured the back of a statue's head. It propelled her upwards, ending with Maria perched on the sculpture's shoulder. "Go for the joints," Alex commanded before each of them hid behind a statue. The mecha's mechanical nature made an impact across the land. From a distance, one could hear it whirring with rage. As it stomped, it shook the ground below. It matched the statue in size, extending upwards of 15 feet tall. "Go." Alex, Reese, and Maria all took a shot at its shoulder. Maria struck first. The bow implemented itself into the joint, striking the tangle of visible wires. Each joint had the same image of wires prevalent at its knees, shoulders, and elbows. The arrow was quickly followed by a stream of blasts from Alex. The enemy retaliated. From its right arm, 3 rockets quickly detracted in 3 separate directions, one for each member of the alliance. Alex braced and jumped from his position. His evasion coerced the rocket to hit the statue instead. The impact sent chunks of rock flying, a few of which pelted Alex. Maria managed to retreat by sliding down her established rope. Her smooth transition to the ground was interrupted once the missile contacted the statue, sending her crashing to the ground. The 3rd rocket smashed into the rocks before Reese, denting the ground below and striking him with debris. The turning of events turned Alex's mindset, making him wish he had not risked the lives of his team against a nearly impossible enemy. A countermeasure came when a stream of bullets contacted the mecha's belly. It acted as a distraction, as it did nothing to stop nor slow its advancement. 6 rockets spewed from the mecha, 3 from its left and 3 from its right, all of which headed towards the bullet stream's origins. "Keep on the arm," Alex pleaded. His plasma, Reese's bullets, and a streak of arrows hammered at the joint, eventually breaking through. The right arm suddenly dropped as steam rose from the wound, ending its use. 3 missiles came from the left, which surged past the 3 of them towards the reinforcements. Alex turned to see how many had been brought. Only one. Patton had taken full control of the horse. It spurred forth with haste under his command, managing to dodge the explosions that surrounded him due to the sporadic nature of his movement. Despite his anger for Patton's defiant nature, Alex swallowed the truth that it was Patton who had saved them and came to be thankful, for without his distraction, they would not have been able to disable the right arm. A sudden green shield of plasma acted as protection for the mecha. The green sphere shimmered as the Alliance attacked it, slowly cracking but not enough to end it, and the mecha remained able to send its rockets outward, forcing the Alliance into constant movement. "Save your bullets," Alex commanded. Patton did not listen, continuously using the turret, slowly draining its supply while making visible damage. The green began to flicker and the shield cracked, vanishing completely. "Bullets all out," Patton revealed. Go, left arm," Alex exclaimed. The left side proved itself more difficult as the mecha waved in a random pattern, managing to dodge the direct assault. Maria withdrew her sword. She rushed forward until close enough to get to the mecha. Once its arm was in a downturn, she leapt into the air and plunged her weapon into the left shoulder blade. The mecha's arm moved inward, crushing Maria's body in a horrid spray of blood. Her corpse fell, but the sword remained cemented. Reese's accuracy allowed bullets to make their way into the mecha's neck. A trickle of red blood left it. A human inside had been hit. The mecha's trio of cannons shifted by merging into one. From the process, a laser swept across the land. Unavoidable, brutal, and inaccurate. To avoid it, Alex leapt above. Patton dashed under it, but Reese had failed. The back of his shirt was shredded, leaving his back scarred with burning flesh. With rage, Alex allowed a blast to manifest within his cannon for an extended period while moving dangerously close. Once released, it hit the enemy's armor, exposing its inner workings. A cascade of wires and motherboards, and underneath it all, a sliver of skin was visible. "Look out," Patton called. The beam stopped, and the mecha's left arm swept towards Alex. It came rapidly. All he could do was embrace. He manifested a strong blast of plasma. The mecha's arm was torn off, and Alex went tumbling with it. When he recovered, he could sense that his cannon had reduced greatly in power, only containing enough juice for a few more maneuvers. He looked upward to see that the mecha's left arm was raised, but unable to make movement. The sword within had drilled further, causing additional damage. The arm jerked with desperation, unable to move. The mecha slowly turned and ran, intent on returning to the technicians. It was slow due to its heavy size, but ending its retreat would be tasking. Reese was decommissioned, Alex was close to losing ammo, and Patton had none. They would not end the mecha's escape by traditional means. Using the last of his power, he anchored himself to the ground by manifesting a solid claw deep into the earth and crafted a purple whip which rapped against the mecha's feet. Alex's body tore with pain as the suit crashed on his back. "Reese!" Alex called. Alex dashed to him. He was in a hunched position, rocking back and forth. Red splotches were prevalent within his back. "We'll get you back right away." "You better find out where they are first," Reese pleaded, "or this was for nothing." Alex and Patton rushed towards the mecha with caution. "Thanks for listening," Alex told Patton. "You mean not listening?" Patton japed. Alex used Maria's sword, and Patton had brought his own dagger. They ripped through the armor with brutal force while the remnants of a human body were slowly revealed. "Can I try?" Patton requested, holding his palms out for the sword. "You think you're good enough?" "Yeah, I just got a mech." "Help take down a mecha," Alex corrected. "Be careful," he commanded. The rise and fall of a heartbeat was revealed. Then ahead, they hoisted the technician free, who was gravely injured. The bullet had lodged its way into his stomach. His breath was ragged. He coughed harshly. Death had almost taken him. "How many technicians are coming?" Alex demanded. The man shook his head. "When are you going to strike?" Patton raised his fist and struck the technician. "Now," the technician stated. From a ring on the man's finger, a blade emerged and plunged directly into Patton's heart. Alex smashed his cannon against the already dead technician before tending to Patton's injury, knowing that through his persistence, Patton would be able to survive. His body shook ferociously while blood streamed from his heart. "We're getting you back," Alex stated as he began to lift him. "No," Patton urged, "or boy dies." Alex's hand stopped. The odd dictation had a familiar cadence. "Alex, help!" Patton screamed. Alex broke free of his flustered state and wrapped his arms around Patton's body. "No touch or the boy will die," Patton warned again. He calmed. His panicked expression stopped. His eyes cast down to his heart, an act that made Alex do the same. As the flow of red blood continued, a slow trickle of green came through. Alex turned his eyes away. "I'll help." Eyes everywhere, Patton claimed blankly, unhindered by emotion. His blood touched Alex's hand. It felt thick. "Leave him," Alex warned, allowing himself to face the harrowing fact that Patton had been partly taken at some point. "Always mine," Conrad answered. "Patton, you can fight it." A name given by another. Only green liquid left the wound. "I'll do anything if you let him live." "This is a test. Watch how you battle, hindered by pain." Alex tried shifting Patton's body. It had turned extraordinarily heavy. Green foam took over Patton's mouth, pushing Alex into submission. "I'll take your place. Can you just give him back?" Alex attempted another overhaul of Patton's body, which failed. I won't. The vile green blood that Alex was trying to swipe away changed to hardened gray, taking Patton's eyes, mouth, and ears. Patton turned still. His pulse had ended. Another one of Conrad's children had died.